The perfect game is every bowler's dream. In the long history of ABC's Professional Bowlers Tour, we have only seen 3. In 1967, Jack Beyond a Little became the first when his 300 game was viewed by a national television audience. In 1969, Johnny Gunther's reaction was understandable when he joined that elite group of bowlers experiencing perfection. Then in 1974, Jim Stefanich bowled a 300 game and received $10,000 for the effort. The prize now is $100,000, and that quest for perfection, coupled with the drama of head-to-head competition, continue to motivate the bowler and entertain us all. As ABC Sports proudly presents, for the 25th consecutive season, the Professional Bowlers Tour. Today, we're located around 30 miles southeast of the Golden Gate Bridge in Union City, California. And what an interesting field of 5. In the first match, you'll see 23-year-old Randy Peterson of Santa Maria, California, making his first network television appearance. He'll face 26-year-old Walter Ray Williams, world champion horseshoe pitcher, looking for his first bowling title. Qualifying third, the always tough and very talented Wayne Webb of Carmel, Indiana, with 16 PBA titles. The number 2 spot belongs to Rowdy Morrow of St. Louis, the only bowler to roll a perfect game this week. One of these bowlers will face the tournament leader, Dennis Jakes of Middletown, New Jersey, a power bowler who clinched the top spot with a 269 game last night. This competition coming up on the Professional Bowlers Tour. And this has been the scene of battle most of the week at the Union Square Lanes here in Northern California. That's right, and this is the first of 16 consecutive live Saturday afternoon telecasts where the world's finest bowlers will be competing for a total purse over that 16-week period of over $2.5 million. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Chris Schenkel, and thank you again for joining us. An incentive for our professionals throughout the 16 weeks. For the first to bowl a perfect 300 game this year, an additional $100,000. It's going to be exciting today. We have a capacity crowd, including General Chuck Yeager, one of my heroes. Another hero is my colleague, Nelson Burton, Jr. I bring him in now. So, we are live, and immediately following this telecast, our AC Delco Classic, for the first time on ABC, live coverage of the Harlem Globetrotters with Lynette Woodard, the first lady to play with the Globies. So it's a big afternoon on ABC, and I know it's a big season for the professional bowlers in '86.
Well, you're right, Chris. It is going to be a great year, 1986 Professional Bowlers Tour. 1985 saw Mike Albee win $200,000, and 86 holds even more. We have a great crop of young players coming on the tour. Mix that with the Albees, the Mark Bakers, the Pete Webbers, who had great years last year. Then some of the veterans, Mark Roth, Marshall Holman. Wayne Webb continues his dominance of the 1980s. Look at point number 2, an increased scoring environment for 1986. Last year we had poor scores. I believe that's all going to change around. A couple of reasons. The players have adjusted their equipment to the heavier bowling pins that came in last year. And finally, they've adjusted their equipment to the lane conditions we found on the Professional Bowlers Tour in the last couple of years. So maybe somebody can crack that $100,000 barrier, shoot the 300 game this year. And finally, there's other incentives from major manufacturers. One manufacturer is putting up $1 million if a player can win 3 of their tournaments on this year's Winter Tour. So who knows? We had a $200,000 man last year. We may have a $1 million man this year. So now we're ready to start the 1986 season with 2 young Lions coming out, making their first television performance for Randy Peterson, Walter Ray Williams, trying for his first title. So, Chris, we're ready to go for the first shots of 1986.
There we are. Thank you, Bo. And here at the Union Square Lanes, Randy Peterson, 6'2", 175 pounds. And is he ever anxious here in his 3rd television appearance to make a big hit? He's one of a field of 160 that started earlier this week. 144 right-handers, 16 left-handers. Let's watch this 23-year-old who was distracted by some unnecessary movement by one of the spectators. His high game, Randy Peterson, this week was 269, Santa Maria, California. Look at that concentration. He's on the left lane of this pair. His opponent, Walter Ray Williams, Jr. That will release a great deal of tension. Randy Peterson, Bo, that's the way to start.
Walter Ray Williams, Chris, has some championship round of experience. He's been before the ABC cameras before, and he's quite a lot of gamesmanship with him, being the 4-time world's horseshoe champion. He knows that heads-up competition. He's a tough opponent for Peterson.
Oh, a wonderful break for the Chino, California resident. He is 26 years old, 4-time world horseshoe pitching champion. And, Bo, this is a little different. The stakes horseshoe 40 feet apart, and the opening of a horseshoe is 3 inches. Pocket's a little bigger here. The ball's heavier than the 2.5-pound horseshoes, right?
Well, the prize money's a lot more, too.
Oh, yes.
But this man can handle it. He's has let his horseshoe ability carry over into bowling.
Well, hello, America.
4, 6, 7, 9, 10. This is a very difficult split, and what he has to do is try to get the ball over into the right-hand zone here. He doesn't lose pin count with a strike-up, and slide the 4-pin over, the 6-pin over into the 4-7 zone. Let's see how he goes after it.
Nearly got them. So it's an open frame for Walter Ray Williams.
What a terrific try. Now watch the action of the 6-pin as it bounces off the 9, hits over behind the 7, and doesn't get the good kick of the 4-pin off the sideboard. He could have converted that split and been right even with the match. As is, he's given Randy Pedersen an early opportunity. Randy has never won a game in the championship round. In fact, his average for the 2 championship rounds he's been in is 153.
Going for a double. While leaving the 2-8 as we replay his approach.
Randy Pedersen's 6 feet 2 inches tall, 5-step delivery, has a real nice style. Knows how he stays upright, swing in good position, shoulders level, a good deep knee bend on that 4-step, and finishes perpendicular to the foul line with that left foot. The 2-8 double wood.
And he too now has an open frame, chopping the 2 off the 8. We're in our very first match here at the Union Square Lanes in Northern California. As the winner of this first game will meet Wayne Webb, then Rowdy Morrow, and eventually the tournament leader, Dennis Jakes. Third frame. Good recovery following the disappointing opening 2nd frame. And now let's see what Walter Ray Williams can do, Bo. He, after an open and a count of 28 through 2.
The characteristics of the championship pair, the left-hand lane, it hooks very evenly, and the players have had no trouble with it. Lane 34 has got a little area where the ball hangs right there, and it often causes a player to come in light. Chris, if they make the adjustment, they go high. So the key today is going to be to conquer, I believe, the right-hand lane. You see Walter Ray with that basically a 4-step delivery, has everything in good position as he enters this pivot step, goes through with that kind of a uninhibited release, and really gets the job done well with natural ability.
And covers the 2-4-5 in the 3rd frame of this first game. And it's an all-even match as we look at the first breakdown and a total of $150,000 in the AC Delco Classic. 27 to the winner, 14, 8,500, 7,000. And the loser of this first game will walk away with $6,000. Williams, left lane now, 4th frame. All right, this is the first of 16-week live telecasts on ABC, the Professional Bowlers Tour. More action after this. There, and then he flew twice as fast as the speed of sound. He's done everything, and he's proudest of his military career, Bo, and he is the AC Delco spokesperson. Successful author. He's got it all.
Couldn't have picked much better man. Randy Pedersen to take the lead. Tie match.
Good concentration. Beautiful follow through. And did he wish for it at the line? Randy Pedersen.
What a nice young man, Chris. I remember when he first came out in the tour a couple of years ago, he threw the great big hook ball, and he was so wild. He couldn't, when he didn't strike, he never, hardly ever got a spare. He shot so many poor games. He's worked a lot on his game to cut down his hook, become more rhythmic on the way to the line. He has good body positions. As you see, uses a fingertip grip, digging a thumb all the way into the ball. He can take a 20-pin lead with a strike here in the 5th.
Well, leaving the 610 on the left lane, the man that when he crushed this championship pair had a 246 average. So he's in his 3rd TV appearance, 1st game on our live telecast today.
Changing balls for the spare, Chris, using a much harder ball so it'll slide down there, hopefully to avoid the chop of the 6 off the 10.
It's pretty prevalent now, isn't it, Nelson?
Well, there's pros and cons, Chris, about changing balls for spares. Definitely, if you can get the ball to cut down your hook, you have a better chance to make choppable spares, such as the 610. But one thing can happen, you can also have a different feel in the ball and often not get out of the ball cleanly.
Going for a double. Didn't come up in the bucket. 2, 4, 5, 8 for Williams. You're still looking for that elusive first professional bowlers title or world championships. Last year in Horseshoe Champion, 4 of the top 6 places were copped by the Williams family in horseshoe pitching. They're tough. Well done. Okay, a little earlier, as we talk about horseshoes, we asked Walter Ray, what does horseshoe affect his bowling? How does it?
Well, I think the sport of horseshoes and bowling go hand in hand. And when I'm pitching well in horseshoes, I can bowl pretty well. And when I bowl well, I think I can pitch pretty well. And the stroke is very similar. It keeps me going in both sports.
All right. Now back to bowling. High hit, leaving the 3, 6, 10 on the left lane.
Deadeye, as his nickname is in the horseshoes, Chris, used the word stroke there in his commentary about how bowling and horseshoes go hand in hand. And in that particular shot, he didn't have a stroke. He just threw the ball, muscled it down there, and has left himself a very difficult spare, the 3, 6, 10 across lane.
Well done. Continuing to mark the spares, but it's Peterson that has an 11-pin lead as we move to the 6th frame now. And here is Randy shooting on the right lane. His mother and grandmother, survivors of the Holocaust.
Boy, really put the good touch on that ball. That right-hand lane has been hanging, not finishing. As we see, Williams has had trouble on that lane. Peterson gave it a real nice stroke, got the wall shot, and now he's in a good position to take a 21-pin lead. This young man, Chris, has never won a match in a championship round. In fact, a dismal 153 for his 2 other appearances. All that he needs to do is get loose, win a game, and he could be very tough the rest of the day.
Beautiful power shot by Randy Peterson. All right, now taking a 21-pin lead as we're getting the final stages of this first match. The winner to meet Wayne Webb. Don't go away. We'll return following this message.
Firestone and 10,000 service bays coast to coast keep America driving all winter long.
America's driving to Firestone.
Get extra starting power this winter with your choice of Firestone batteries. Choose the Extra Life 60, warranted 5 years, and now an extra savings. On sale, $49.95.
Driving force is Firestone.
Steel belted all-season radials. Firestone's lowest price ever for top-of-the-line quality.
Firestone.
Sure, trailing suspects through back streets and dark alleys is dangerous work, but it's worth it. Because after cracking a tough case, I open one of these, a light beer from Miller. After tracking down hot leads all day, a cold light sure tastes great. And light's less filling, too, with a third less calories than their regular beer. And you can't afford to get filled up in this line of work.
Rossini.
Good news, lady. Found your dog.
Light beer from Miller. Everything you always wanted in a beer, and less.
We're back again in Northern California, Union City, California, as we look at Chino, California's Walter Ray Williams, who is trailing by 21 pins. He has a spare up shooting in the 7th frame, going against Randy Peterson. Right lane. A 10.
Well, that was a good shot for Walter Ray. He has to get back in the match by hitting the right-hand lane now. He's going to finish on the left-hand lane, his favorite lane, so if he can pop a strike here in the 9th frame on this right-hand lane, he'll be right in the match.
Mom's rooting.
Esther Williams, that's a famous name, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. Okay. Williams and Peterson, along with another competitor today, are not eligible for the Firestone Tournament of Champions. At Bo, that total purse of our final event, as it is each year, has been up to $250,000, $50,000 to the winner. So bowling is moving ahead.
Some good paychecks out there this winter, Chris.
Come on, come on.
Oh my goodness, the solid 8. What happens there, Chris, is the 5-pin gets chopped straight back off the 8. Watch the ball enter the 1-3. Then as Walter Ray's blocking out a little bit, there you see the 5-pin going straight back, being chopped off the 8-pin. Tough break for Walter. He wanted to put some pressure on Pedersen there.
Looks so lonely. And this is a lonely sport. Nobody helps you. No partners. You're up there on your own when you hit that approach, which Peterson now is about to do. 8th frame, good lead, Bo. 23 pins.
23, double working, can extend that lead to 33 with a strike here in the 8th.
So let's watch now how Peterson will try to cover the 10-pin.
Notice what he does on his spare shots. He takes off his wrist device to keep the ball his wrist in a flat position so he can cut down his hook. Watch how he throws the ball hard and straight. There's a good lesson to learn here, and changes to a ball that doesn't hook much. Real nice shot there.
Wayne Webb has been practicing off to our right. He's the bowler of the year in 1980, and one of those that went over the $100,000 mark in 1985. And the winner of our second game will go against a non-winner, Rowdy Morrow from the St. Louis area, and then Dennis Jakes, the tournament leader. 9th frame. Both young professionals really talk to the pins and the ball. In this case, it helped.
Just a beautiful shot. He sends that ball out to about the 3rd board and breaks all the way up into the pocket area, the 17th board, knocks all 10 pins in the pit. Loves that reaction, and it also sets him up where he can determine his own destiny. No matter what Walter Ray Williams does here in the 9th and 10th, Peterson can still win the match with a mark and a strike in the 10th.
Well, thankful look up above for Williams as he strikes in the 9th frame.
Walter Ray, always a good clutch bowler, has to draw on that ability right now. He trails by 22 pins. He has a possible 203 with 3 more strikes. Randy Peterson, his opponent, is going at a 205 pace. Walter Ray must strike on this ball to have any chance of winning. Not to be, Chris.
No, not today.
The best dead eye can do is a 183. Peterson sitting in the driving seat. Walter Ray with just a little too much speed. Didn't have that stroke today he was looking for. The ball slides by, leaving the 2-pin.
So, Walter Ray Williams, 12th here last year, will have hit the number 5 spot in $6,000. So, the steady improvement.
Well, the 8-pin that he left in the 8th frame was a tough shot.
Yes.
Could have changed the whole match. Good game by Walter Ray. He'll be back. Randy Peterson just has to keep it on the lane. He needs 4 pins and 2 shots to go on to meet Farmer Bowler of the Year, the tough Wayne Webb.
And the good part about Peterson that he has overcome that 0 for 2 television record, you know, to break in and finally win a game. And he's done it here this afternoon, our first, but he has to have some anticipation. In fact, he's facing the great Wayne Webb next.
Well, he's well practiced. I'll tell you, Randy Peterson's going to give Webb all he can handle in this next match.
Okay. So there it is, Randy Peterson of Santa Maria, California. We'll have his final score for you when we come back, but he is a clear-cut winner. He will meet Wayne Webb after this.
The Professional Bowlers Tour. This ABC Sports exclusive is being brought to you by AC Delco, the smart part. By light beer from Miller, everything you've always wanted in a beer and less. And by Firestone, with over 4,000 Firestone retailers from coast to coast.
Superimposed in that upper left-hand corner is something we've been proud of for years here on Professional Bowlers Tour live coverage. That's right. And immediately following the finals of the AC Delco Classic, we'll be live for the first time on ABC's Wide World of Sports coverage of the Harlem Globetrotters, though. And you know, the Olympic gold medal captain, Lynette Woodard, will be there, full view, and she's charming and talented.
And they say that she can play pretty good basketball. And as you see, the first game was won by Randy Peterson, 204, kind of a routine victory over Walter Ray Williams, who had some bad breaks. But Randy Peterson has his hands full now with Wayne Webb.
6 strikes for this tall Californian. First shot, left lane. Almost.
Solid 10. Boom. 6-pin went flying around. It almost got a break as the 9-pin fell sideways and almost fell into it. Randy Peterson started bowling in the junior program, picked up bowling at age 8. He told me his first game was 93, so he's made quite an improvement since then. He said he picked up about 10 pins on his average every year through high school. Accomplished star now.
So it's a mark in the first frame, and Wayne Webb, whom you've all seen on television many, many times, because here's a man in 11 years as a professional has won 16 PBA titles, 127,000 last year, career earnings of $689,000, and at 5'5", 150 pounds, as tough as they come. One just didn't come up.
The same problem as we saw Walter Ray have. The right-hand lane doesn't quite come up, but if there's a player that can adjust to it, is this guy, Wayne Webb. Look at the short approach, the little dynamo, the power arm swing, the short approach. He slides about a foot behind the foul line, but he's got the good hand action.
Practically the width of a phone booth. To bowl from a phone booth. He is powerful. Likeable, sly little guy.
Going back to giving the beginnings of these players, Wayne Webb started bowling at age 3, turned pro at age 19. His first year, Chris, he only won $90 on a tour, and now he's in the top 10 all-time money winners.
Crossing over and leaving the 10-pin, the man that was born in Rehoboth, Massachusetts, now a resident of Indianapolis, Indiana.
The sharp break. Wayne wants the ball to what we call set up into 1-3, but the left-hand lane, it hooks more than the right. Wayne didn't adjust on that shot there. Crosses over, has a simple spare of the 10-pin. Another power player whose great improvement really has been in the spare making. Hard and straight at the pins. Nice shot.
Like a whisker. But nevertheless, Wayne Webb continues to mark.
You know, that was a nice shot, like an airplane accident. You know, Chris, if you walk away from an airplane landing, it's been called a good landing. So that was the same as that spare shot.
With that perfect pocket hit and a strike for Peterson, earlier we asked him what really is the key for bowling well.
I think the key for me to bowling well today is to stay as calm as I possibly can, and I think the key to that is concentrating as much as I can. My key to bowling successfully is staying loose, and I think if I concentrate well today, I'll stay loose. I get by the first match, I'll be even looser. Look out, I might go all the way.
That hit was high, leaving the 3-6 on the left lane for the winner of the first game over Walter Ray Williams.
Well, that's the first shot that Randy has really been off the target. He's had a trajectory around the first arrow on the left-hand lane. That time he pulled the ball almost the second arrow as the 3-6 spare, going across lane.
One thing thus far today, Bo, we have very fast bowlers. They take very, very little time. Set themselves for the first shot in each frame, but after that, it's boom, boom.
Well, I think a lot of the players have a tendency to emulate stars as they come up, and I think these younger players are going faster and faster, realizing if they don't know what they're going to do before they step on the approach, they sure aren't going to figure it out in the extra few seconds. So I think it's good.
And for Wayne Webb, his first strike in his first match today. It's our second of the afternoon, coming in the third frame. Here's a replay.
The power of Wayne Webb, the ability to adjust. He was light on the first shot on the right-hand lane, softened the speed up, put a little more power behind the ball. Got that one in the pocket. Now he trails by 1, but can take a 9-pin lead. Let's see how he adjusts on the right-hand lane. Will he throw it harder, or will he give it more room?
And it's a 3-6.
Neither one, a little soft. I would say the difference, and the players said it, about 5 boards difference between the 2 lanes, Chris. In other words, how you would adjust for that would move about 5 boards to the left on the approach on the lane that's hooking. You always move the direction that your ball is missing. So on the left-hand lane, Wayne has to move another couple of boards. He'll be right in the pocket. He's got the right-hand lane figured out.
Bo, thanks for the tip. And another spare for Wayne Webb. And speaking of tips following this game, Nelson Burton with his bowling tip of the week, going back to the basics. First of a series of 4 on getting you started again properly.
ABC Sports continues to strike rich with bowling's best at the Greater Los Angeles Open on the Professional Bowlers Tour next Saturday.
There's the man that will meet the winner of the match underway, Rowdy Morrow, St. Charles County and St. Charles, Missouri. He appears ready, practicing while Randy Peterson and Wayne Webb are going at it here in the second match. Peterson winning his first game over Walter Ray Williams, 204 to 182 with 6 strikes. Now he has a strike in the second, a spare in the third, shooting in the fourth. 4, 6, 7, 10.
Boy, he sure didn't expect that. He's had the right-hand lane, the ball, what we call hold, not dive at the back end. Here's the ball. Looks like it's going to set up in the pocket. All of a sudden, it just flips over one more time, right through the middle. Big tonk, the 4, 6, 7, 10. The best Randy can do is just go for a couple of them.
Emphatically, he did that. 6, 10 are gone, 4, 7 standing. So here is always a disastrous open frame. But let's see how he recovers on the left lane in frame 5.
Randy, as many of the players, has backers that put him on the tour. And what Randy did is he sold shares in himself to a group of 6 fellows for $750 a share, and he's definitely paying dividends this week, Chris. He's going to have a nice paycheck whether he wins this game or not, and a great future.
He did that in the first match, which he won. Came back after open frames with a strike. And now
watch the last pin to go down. It'll be the 9 pin. Here's the ball hitting the 1, 3, 5, and look at the power that Randy Peterson possesses. The ball didn't even hit the 9 pin. It was the 5 pin coming to the right. That is tremendous power when you have a hit like that.
spare up shooting in the 5th, leading by 15 pins, Wayne Webb. 1, 2, 6, 7, 8, 10.
Well, Chris, you said this is your 25th year. This is my 12th, and I have never seen that before. Let's count them off. Well,
what do you do, punt here?
Well, there's two schools of thought. I would say throw the ball over in the 1-2 zone, drive the head pin over into the 6-10, and hope the ball deflects over and takes out the 2 and the 7 and the 8. Let's see how he attacks it.
There are no alternatives. All but one. And the capacity crowd appreciates the effort of Wayne Webb. Well, earlier we asked him about the critics, and we have no idea who they are, who think he's finished.
Well, I saw some of the articles, and it seems like the critics think I'm dead or something, and I'm out here to prove that Wayne Webb's still alive, and watch out, because I'm going to be on top.
All right. Now, trails by 2, 82 through 5, shooting in the 6th frame. Not being a wagering man, Bo, he's one I'd never bet against.
Wayne Webb, just a great talent. Look at this ball. Nobody's had trouble with the left-hand lane. This ball rolls very smoothly as it enters the 1-3 pocket. No tricks, where the right-hand lane has been the undoing of most of the players so far. Randy Pedersen opened there in the 4th frame. Wayne Webb gave the lead right back to him by opening there in the 5th. Pedersen's strike up can take a 12-pin lead.
Regardless, you can bet on his future. He's a good one.
Look at the determination in his face. And this a tremendous shot here. Executes good deep knee bend. Follow through. Now watch his reaction when he leaves a solid 10. Boom. He wanted this one.
All right. Continuing to cover those 10 pins, but ever so close. But it's a spare in the 6th. 2-pin lead. Size of the crowd here. You know, if bowling establishments had huge seating capacities, we could get a bunch, couldn't we?
Well, we sure could, Chris. We've experimented with that a couple of times. I remember as our television coordinator, Frank Esposito, was talking about earlier today, we bowled in the Felt Farm at Madison Square Garden, and I believe we had 3,500 people there in a capacity of 3,500. So bowling is definitely set for arenas. It's just difficult to set up all the lanes for a tournament.
Right. Beautifully done. And you know, Nelson, we did it in Mobile, Alabama way back as well. It was fun. Okay, more of the second game nearing the final stages after this. Friends, you've heard of busman's holidays. Well, 2 respected colleagues came out to appreciate bowling again and to visit the Cupper, Lee Gross Cup, University of Utah All-American. And when I was doing Giant Games, he was one of our quarterbacks, and of course, the very talented Al Michaels, who brought Stephen and Jennifer with him today, their children.
2 super guys.
Aren't they, though?
They do a great job. Al has filled in for you a couple of times on the telecast here. Does a great job. Great on baseball, Lou on football. All right, Wayne Webb trails by 2. Has a strike working in the 6th. Could take the lead if he can double here in the 7th.
Wayne certainly wanted to mark with a strike. Let's see how he shoots this 4-pin now.
The scoring environment has definitely began to go down, Chris. So I expected some good scores. Neither player has a double through 7 frames.
Can you pinpoint the reason, Nelson?
What has happened all week long, Chris, I spoke with the players that they've had certain pairs that they really shot real well on. Rowdy Morrow shot a 300 this week. Dennis Jakes had a hot round. But what has happened is they could never put 2 lanes together, and the same is true on this particular pair. The left-hand lane seems to roll very smoothly, no problem. The right-hand lane is stopping the players almost every time.
Nearly in the channel, that shot. Ooh.
Wayne Webb very wide on that shot, and he's in a position where he has to make a shot. Now what he has to do is get the ball over here by the 3-pin, drive the 3-pin over into the 4-7 area. It's not that difficult of split. He needs to make this to stay close in the match. Across lane.
Didn't come up to get that 3 that Bo was talking about. So for Wayne Webb, it's costly. Open frame increases Peterson's lead to 19. Now you hear pinfall. Our tournament leader, Dennis Jakes, is up and warming up along with Rowdy Morrow.
Big shot for Peterson. He can really close the door on Wayne Webb with a strike here.
What does he get instead? A split.
Well, the players just cannot read the lanes. When they move in a little bit, as we saw it towards the center of the lane, the ball will not come up. When they move out, the ball finishes too much. For Randy Peterson, get the ball over here to the left of the 2-pin, slide the 2 over into the 10. Be close.
So matching open frames here in the late stages of this pivotal second game. It's 136 through 8 for Peterson, 125 through 8 for Webb. 7-pin lead by the man in the striped shirt who keeps adjusting his equipment.
9th frame for Randy Peterson. He must strike here to protect himself. If he strikes here, he has a possible 192. Whatever Wayne Webb does, he cannot shut out Peterson. But if Peterson doesn't strike, he can get shut out without ever throwing another ball. He stays there.
Oh, yes. Remember, this is the young man, a non-winner on the tour, that won his first game. And here, after the shot, watch his reaction.
Boy, did he just saw out those pins. Watch the action on the 6-pin. Watch the action on Randy's face. Stays in the match.
9th frame for Wayne Webb. Mr. Competitor, Wayne Webb.
Tough competitor, Wayne Webb. Excellent, excellent clutch player. And for Wayne, right now he trails by 7 pins. He can take the lead in the match for the first time. Now, Wayne was in this situation in the 42nd game last night where he could have struck in the 10th and gone by Rowdy Morrow into 2nd place. He got a split. Let's see what he does against Randy Peterson. Wayne Webb to take the lead.
Well, he can practice the previous shot again. Unfortunately for Webb here.
What a way to go. It's believe it or not, it's not over. If Wayne Webb can convert the 3, 4, 6, 7, he can still win the match. Wayne Webb has a possible 165 with a conversion. Randy Peterson would be forced to mark in the 10th. If Webb doesn't make it, Randy Peterson will go on to meet Rowdy Morrow in the semifinal.
Saw the tension on Peterson's face. I can only watch along with you. Now Webb.
.147, Chris. Tough game. Tough game.
147.
Randy Peterson just needs 3 pins on 2 balls, and he goes into the semifinal.
And Bo, there are those of us that can relate to that kind of score.
They've had a number of them this week. There's the winner.
There's the winner, 2 in a row. Being 0-2 coming into our live telecast today, Randy Peterson now has won 2 matches today, and he meets a non-winner from St. Charles, Missouri, Rowdy Morrow, in the semifinal match leading to the final in the AC Delco Classic. We'll be back. The championship pair had Union Square lanes. Very, very difficult. 171 to 147 is the score on Randy Peterson's second victory, doing it against all-time great Wayne Webb. 4 strikes. He won the first 204 to 182. We're live and sole coverage of the Harlem Globetrotters, and that pretty lady there in the center, Lynette Woodard, for the first time, the Olympic gold medal captain, will be part of the Globetrotters and Wide World of Sports. We'll cover it live immediately following ABC's Wide World of Sports. Okay, it's time now for Nelson Burton Jr.'s Bowling Tip of the Week. And again, you'll enjoy this, and believe me, it'll help your game.
The Professional Bowler's Tip of the Week is being brought to you by Old Spice Aftershave and Cologne. Splash on the feeling. Splash on Old Spice.
As we open the 1986 bowling season, we have a 4-part lesson series that is good for all bowlers, the top-level bowlers right down to the beginners. The first week will involve the approach, the proper starting position. The second week will involve the total approach back to the foul line, the release of the ball, and the follow-through. The third week involves reading the lane, finding the strike zone week after week, day after day. And finally, the last part of the series will reinforce your spare positions on the lane and on the approach. Now, lesson number 1. First, finding your proper starting position on the approach. Turn your back to the pins, stand at the foul line, take 4.5 brisk steps away from the foul line. The half step is to accommodate your slide. Next, pick up your bowling ball with your hands on the side of the ball. Avoid a broken hand right at the beginning of the season by getting it hit with another ball coming back on the return. Now, set your starting position on the approach. I'm about 12 feet from the foul line. This is my natural starting position. Now I have to find my position laterally on approach. I recommend trying the center dot because this is the basic area we start for the strike position. Cradle the weight of the ball in your left hand. Insert your fingers in the ball first, then bury your thumb all the way in the thumb hole. This is the way you get the best and most comfortable grip. And finally, hold the ball in the palm of your hand. The weight in the left, but hold the ball in the palm of your right hand. Now you have the proper starting position on the approach. Next week, we'll work on the approach.
We're proud that the AC Delco Classic has become a fixture on the Professional Bowlers Tour each year as we're live from Union Square Lanes. 2 matches out of the way, third coming up. But in the meantime, we're starting a new segment in the future here on Professional Bowlers Tour. It's called Ask Bo. Okay, ask a question and Bo will answer. That was the address that you send your questions to. Not questions like, how old are you? Nothing like that. But Post Office Box 1986, Radio City Station, New York, New York, 10101. And Bo will answer your bowling questions with finesse and with expertise.
It's going to be a lot of fun, Chris.
Sure.
This match is going to be a lot of fun. 2 non-winners. This guarantees us a non-winner in the championship match against Dennis Jakes. Randy Peterson bowled a nice 171, if you can say that. He got some bad breaks, never got any good breaks last game, so let's see if he gets loose against Rowdy Morrow.
And that's some kind of hello for the non-winner, Rowdy Morrow, who's had to wait off in the rings, occasional practice shot, and here is the stroke replay.
Trips the 4 out. First really good break he's got.
24 years old, 5'9", is the opponent, Rowdy Morrow. All right, leaving the 4-pin for the man that knows about regional play a great deal. Started young, Nelson, back in your home area.
Well, Chris, he's from St. Charles area, which you alluded to is just west of St. Louis. He's a very likable young man and very disciplined in his bowling game.
And that sparkling bowling ball helps him mark with a spare. In this, his first game. As for Peterson, it's his 3rd match of the afternoon.
It's been a good and bad week for Rowdy Morrow. He had the lead almost all the way. He was defeated by Dennis Jakes in the final 42nd game last night. He said earlier during the week he had food poisoning and he was leading the term. He started feeling better and things went bad. So let's see how he does today.
Like that. He is the only one of 160 pros that started earlier in the week that came up with a perfect 300 game during competition. But that's out of the question now because he marked with a spare in the first, a strike in the second, and here now, Randy Peterson, winner of 2, with a strike up, 2nd frame, 3rd match. A double.
Good shot. Randy Peterson has learned to bowl on the Pro Bowlers Tour, and he made a great shot there on lane 34. Going for a turkey right here to take a 20-pin lead. It's been a while since we've even seen 3 in a row. In fact, today that would be the first one.
Three-bagger for the winner of 2 matches. Is he just getting warmed up? Well, we'll see.
Great shot, jumps right on this spot. Almost leaves a solid 8, takes a 20-pin lead. Rowdy Morrow, first time on ABC Telecast Finals. Just a good young player, though, Chris. He's not going to give up.
And answers with a double of his own. Open with a spare, a double now for Rowdy Morrow.
Rowdy Morrow, who lives just 2 miles from, or grew up 2 miles from Dick Weber bowling lanes, started bowling in the junior program and turned to league play in the adult program at age 15. It'd be ironic if he won this tournament, Chris. This tournament is sponsored by General Motors, the AC Delco, and Rowdy's dad is a employee of General Motors in St. Louis.
Left with a 10-pin. How did he get the first name Rowdy? Well, he was given the name by his parents after they watched Clint Eastwood's play, Rowdy Yates. Okay. All right, we're in our 3rd match of the afternoon, the championship final game to follow. And continuing to mark is the non-winner, Rowdy Morrow. And the man, Randy Peterson, well, he has a 3-bagger up there. Going to have to leave live action, but we'll be right back to bring you up to date.
ABC Sports continues to strike rich with bowling's best at the Greater Los Angeles Open on the Professional Bowlers Tour next Saturday.
5th frame, Randy Peterson. And as he did in the 4th frame, he left the 10-pin. In the 4th, he marked with a spare. Now on the left lane, he can try to mark again in a very close match. He has 1-2 coming into this 3rd against Rowdy Morrow.
Peterson has been perfect on the 10-pin, has not missed one today, and has shot a number of them. Nice shot right there.
And you probably wonder why we leave live action. Simple explanation, we are allotted a 90-minute time period each week, and sometimes the bowling slows down, and consequently, in order to get all the matches in that 1 hour and a half, we have to do it. We regret it, but we have to do it. Keep our house in order. All right, it's a 4-pin.
Rowdy keeping the match close. If he converts the 4-pin, a simple spare, he will trail Randy Peterson, but just 10 pins.
He has an interesting philosophy, that of all bad luck will be rewarded with good luck. I'll go along with that.
Well, there's a certain amount of truth in that. He said over the holidays he practiced very hard, worked on his game, and also took up a new hobby. Went snow skiing in Michigan. He spent 3 or 4 days up there snow skiing, and if he says bad luck will be rewarded with good luck, if he hangs around that snow skiing long enough, you'll find out.
Well, now he will try to cover the 2-8 deadwood on that left lane. And on in the finals, you get every kind of situation, it seems.
Watch the action of the head pin. It goes to the sideboard. It takes out the 4-pin, but it leaves what apparently is just 1 pin. But if you look more carefully, you'll see the 2-8 double wood. Tough shot. We've already seen this miss once today by Peterson in the first match.
Well done. So, Peterson is up. Randy Peterson. He has a spare working in the 5th, now shooting in the 6th. Has that 12-pin lead after victories in the first 2 games, 204 to Walter Ray Williams 182, 6 strikes. then over Wayne Webb, 171 to 147. He marked with 4 strikes in that second game. Now, once a re-rack, calls our tournament director, Harry Golden, out.
Why Harry Golden has to look at it, Chris, is that they have to call the re-rack a frame ahead of time, so we try not to delay the games. As we say, we're running a little behind time, and there's a number of reasons. We try to speed it up by picking out the pins that you feel are off spot earlier. If you don't, you have to ask Harry Golden in. He has allowed the extra re-rack to Randy Peterson. Randy's ready to go, leads by 12 pins, 6 frame.
With that little bit delay on the re-rack, he seemed to rush moving to the line a little bit more. His tempo seemed to not be the way it was a little earlier. There you see the money leaders of last year. Mike Albee, 201,000.
5 players above 100,000.
And this year, shooting for over $2.5 million in purses. Winner today gets $27,000. Peterson's lead now at 11.
Peterson really bowling a nice game. He has 3 strikes to start, then a solid 10 in the 4th, another 10 pin in the 5th, another 10 pin in the 6th. He's been around the pocket every shot. He's not beating himself, bowling very much under control. All the players today are using urethane bowling balls, no plastic balls or hard rubber balls. So they're all on a pretty equal par with equipment.
You liked it. Thank you very much. This is our next to last match, the championship game coming up. The winner of it will meet Dennis Jakes of Middletown, New Jersey. More following this. Though undoubtedly, Rowdy's mom and pop, Larry and DeLois, are getting added commentary from Al Michaels and Lee Grosskopf behind them. They're here rooting for their son, and here he is.
Lovely St. Louis couple flying all the way out to root on their son, maybe stay a couple of days, enjoy some of this warm California weather.
And wincing along with their son because of a 4-6-7-10.
The second time we've seen the 4-6-7-10 on the right-hand lane. Rowdy is just going to throw the ball hard and try to knock the 6-10 around and hopefully get a bounce out of the pit. But just go for the 2.
Quickly to the line, and quickly the 6-10 go down. So, Rowdy trailing by 37 pins at this point.
Changed the whole complexion of the match. Right now, Rowdy Morrow, if he could strike out, would end up with 220. Randy Peterson going at a 217 pace. So it's a must situation to start moving for Rowdy Morrow. Well, all bad luck will be rewarded with good luck. He needs something to switch around for him right now, Chris. He had a bad break. He didn't have to get a split when he hit the nose there in the 7th, and he didn't have to leave that solid 10 in the 8th.
And Rowdy should take heart in the fact that many of the first-time competitors on live network television have this happen to them. It's a great deal of pressure. But this young man, a non-winner, has really handled it well today.
Well, there's something to be said for what we call getting loose, getting one victory under your belt. Patterson is taking advantage.
Pumped up. Gives Peterson a big double.
Solid in the pocket. He's put him in a position, himself in a position. Now look at how low he is at the line. What an excellent position. You're going to throw a lot of strikes when you hit the line like that. But Randy Peterson has a 37-pin lead. He can close the door on Rowdy Morrow with a strike here in the 9th.
Little Carmen Salvino. All right.
The knockout blow, the 2-pin goes to the sideboard, trips out to 4-7. Randy Peterson has a possible 257. Rowdy Morrow, who has bowled a good game, is in big trouble.
The winner to meet Dennis Jakes, a 3-time winner and tough. He has been consistent throughout the week here. He keeps warming up off to the right. When you hear that pin fall, that is Dennis staying loose. And if it's Peterson, he'll have to be loose.
Rowdy Morrow still a possible 210 game.
What an appreciative crowd here for everything that the bowlers accomplish here on the two approaches. They appreciate by applauding.
Rowdy Morrow has just been as solid as a rock at the foul line, Chris. He just had a couple of bad breaks. He'll be right in this match. He can still bowl the highest game so far today. With the highest game we've had so far is a 204 by Peterson. With a strike, Rowdy can pass that.
All right. What a strong finish by this young man from St. Charles, 24 years old, bachelor.
He'll be back. He's a disciplined young man. He's got excellent form. I like his comportment out on the lanes. He never panicked in this match. He kept his form. He just ran into a buzzsaw named Randy Peterson. 207. Good game.
Good game is right. And now, Randy Peterson. Six-pin, working on a three-bagger. So there's the man coming through 3 matches, is going to meet the tournament leader, who has 3 titles, winning 2 from the top spot in the past, Dennis Jakes. For $27,000, the winner will be back. Come to the crucial point now. Randy Peterson will meet the tournament leader, Dennis Jakes, for the $27,000 first prize. Meanwhile, following our telecast, live coverage of the Harlem Globetrotters, for a live report here now at the site is our colleague, Jim McKay. Jim, it's all yours.
This is going to be a big day for us, the first Wide World of Sports of the year, and this, by the way, is the year of our 25th anniversary. It's our annual visit with the Harlem Globetrotters, and by the way, they're celebrating their 60th year on the road. They don't really look like they've been playing for 60 years, do they? Well, he does a little bit, but not only are they celebrating that, but they're also celebrating the addition of a new member of their team. But you got her hidden, guys. Where's Lynette? Ladies and gentlemen, the first lady member of the Globetrotters, Lynette Woodard. Be with Lynette, the guys, and us right after the Professional Bowlers Tour for the first time live on ABC's Wide World of Sports.
That's right, 2 round ball sports this afternoon on ABC. And now we go to the final match. $27,000 the winner, 14 the man that loses. 3-game winner up to this point is Randy Peterson. 224 in his last game, 6 strikes. First shot against the tournament leader. $2-8-10.
Well, 2-8-10, there's a couple of schools of thought, Chris, on how to make this. Number 1 is, should we throw it left-handed and try to slide it across? Number 2, should we throw it hard and try to bounce the 2-pin off the sideboard, or just drive the 2-8 straight back and hope to bounce out of the pit? Let's see what Randy does. He went for the bounce.
He did.
Tough, almost made it.
That young man has a lot of power.
A valiant attempt. Drives it straight back. I believe this is the best way to go at it. Hope you can kick one of those pins out of the pit area and bounce it into the 10. But he's really given Dennis Jakes, our tournament leader, an early opening. Come on.
He was saying, come on, because he is mic'd. He wanted that ball to come up into the pocket. It didn't, and left the 210. So they both are greeted. It's sort of like getting a draft notice in the mail, the way they've started here.
210. Dennis Jakes, much more makeable than the split that Randy Peterson had. Can slide that 2 over into the 10-pin.
Come on! No! How did it not hit the 10-pin? A 360.
What an unfortunate break. Watch this action. He nips that 2-pin, just catches the last quarter of an inch of the 2-pin, goes right around the 10. Watch his reaction. He knows he has it made. Look at this. Whoa, look out, the big fella. He is a big man, too. 6'3", 220 pounds. He'll teach these pins a lesson.
There. Sweeping them off the deck, Dennis Jakes, three-time winner. As we mentioned briefly earlier, he has won 3 tournaments, 2 from the top position, which he's in today.
The drive on the ball. Look at that. Drove all the way through. He hit the 5-pin on the left side of the 5-pin, and it took out the 9-pin. Mike Durbin looks at me and says, boy, oh boy, that's our statistician today. Mike says, that's the kind of ball I throw.
That one didn't come up, leaving the 2. He was checking the surface on his slide to the line after that shot. Now he's removed the equipment off his right arm.
He's picked up the pace. Randy Peterson, who enjoys golf in the off-season, Chris, being a Californian, that's a good part of the country. You can play it year-round, and he says his handicap is a 14. I think that's his gambling handicap. He says he plays with his fellow pro Art Trask quite often. He says 14 is not enough handicap, so I guess Trask has some of his money. Match
and
all
we're
even.
oh so near to Pebble Beach. Again a 10 for Randy Peterson. But he's survived them before with 3 victories. Archie Long, what a great sports fan and executive from Detroit, executive in charge, AC Delco Service Parts. And he's been a great supporter of the Professional Bowlers Tour.
6th year with the PBA AC Delco. What a great sponsor.
Peterson marking with his second spare. If you just joined us, both professionals here in the final game had open frames in the first. Leading by 1, Dennis Jakes of Middletown, New Jersey, in South Jersey.
This shot here can tell us a lot about the match. Can Jakes adjust to the right-hand lane? Hook! Not to be. You see his kind of adjustment, Chris. He's a power player, and when he has the ball not come up as it did in the first frame, as you see the power of this big man, 6'3", 225 pounds, the cupped wrist, gets that wrist underneath the ball, deep knee bend, and just shovels it off his hand. He doesn't even turn the ball. He just palms that ball. But to follow up on that, Chris, what a power player does is he won't make the traditional movement of a conventional type player like a Rowdy Morrow. A player like Dennis Jakes will just try to put more hook and power on it and go around all the problems. Well, that hasn't worked today. Wayne Webb found out that wouldn't work on the right-hand lane. We'll have to see what Dennis Jakes does. If he can't figure it out, Randy Peterson is going to give him all sorts of trouble.
Yeah. Started that near the channel, came back, but left the wobbly 4-pin. Dennis Jakes, who is almost karate-like when he moves and gets to the line. There you see Mike Albee, last year's leading money winner, led the first 2 rounds, and then Dennis Jakes.
Jakes averaged a fabulous 250 in the 3rd round.
In a final game, 269 last night to assure his spot. We're in that final match. We are all even for the big money. More of it following this message. Randy Peterson, one of our 2 finalists after 3 victories, going against the tournament leader, Dennis Jakes. All even. Shooting now on the right lane, and it's a 4th frame effort.
Randy Peterson with a victory would knock out Frank Ellenberg.
4-pin. Really gotten a lot of practice spare shooting today, although he had 6 strikes in his first victory, 4 in the second, and 6 in his last win over Rowdy Morrow.
Chris, we talk about running a little late on time. When the bowlers are only averaging 189, you don't expect to finish on time. This is, they're throwing so many balls, so few strikes. Makes it very difficult. Once again, it is match play competition. $27,000 to the winner, but for Randy Peterson, more than that at stake. A berth in the Firestone's worth a couple of thousand if you just show up and finish last. So,
right.
big game for this young man. He trails by 1 pin. Has his fingers taped to avoid the blisters on the tip of that index finger where he rotates that ball off after the thumb comes out.
And another 2, 8, 10.
What has happened, Chris, and we have seen it before, is that the oil or lane conditioner is carrying down the lane from the players carrying it down with the bowling balls. They don't have a breaking point. Now it's either slide by or jump in the nose, slide by or jump in the nose. You're just going to have to suck it up and fire that ball into the pocket because there are not going to be any big scores today.
Ooh. Disappointed that it didn't jump out and cover the 10 as well. Our regular starting time for the Professional Bowlers Tour telecast, 3 p.m. Eastern Time. Next week in Torrance, California, Jack Cogan's Gable House Lanes. And that produced by an extremely high hit and talking to himself, Dennis Jakes.
3, 6, 9, 10. The idea to convert this is to work on the back pin, the 9 pin being the key pin. Now, a power player like Jakes actually has an advantage on this type of shot by hooking the ball down the outside edge and trying to bring it in right behind the 3. Nice shot.
Dennis Jakes earlier told us that he used to get tired. So the natural question was, well, how do you stay in shape, Dennis?
Well, when I went home after the summer tour, I tried to start working out on a weight program because I felt myself starting to get a little tired at the last, like, say, 38th, 39th, 40th game. And I felt that I was losing a little of my stamina, so I went on a Nautilus weight training program. I tried to diet a little bit, and I just started practicing a little harder because if I'm not going to do it now, I'm never going to do it. So I'm out to prove it this year.
Well, it seems to be working for him. That's no doubt about that. Dennis Jakes knows what weight training is all about. He's a former football player for Arizona State, made the team, but quit playing football and opted for bowling. He has a tremendous bowling talent.
And, Bo, we should point out that the game of bowling, whether you do it for recreation or for a living, they come in all sizes and shapes. You don't have to be big like these 2 finalists.
Well, there's one thing that's for sure to bowl at a professional level these days, Chris. You need power. The days of the traditional down and in ball have seemed to gone by the wayside. You see all the young players out there today that are dominating the tour, the Holmans, the Ross, the Webbers, the Jakes. They're all throwing the big power.
2, 4, 5, and Bo, if they could get a big right arm, big biceps like yours.
Huh.
Okay. Next week, that's where we'll be. Los Angeles Open, Torrance, California, 3 p.m. telecast starting time, 2 Central, and of course 3 Pacific. 245. Ooh. Speaking of power.
Actually, he could use that straight ball for the first shot. Randy Peterson does not have a strike, as the scoreboard reveals, through the first 6 frames. And when you get in a position like this, this is where experience would come in, where a veteran player, if he could get up to that final position match, would have an advantage over these young lions. Let's see what Randy does. He's thinking. He feels that adaptability is his best asset, as he's got a couple of years' experience on the tour. Let's see if he straightens that ball out and goes right to the pocket.
And Bo, unlike golf, where you remove the glove for touch to make a putt, it's a little different here.
Yes, sir. He has done that, and he has put the ball in just a perfect position, Chris. He has made the adjustment, driven the ball straight in the 1-3 pocket. Let's see what Dennis Jakes does here.
Strike up.
11-pin lead.
Oh, yeah, come on, carry it!
And on the deck as a result of leaving a 7-pin, Dennis Jakes.
Really put a nice stroke on that ball. Trusted it, sent it real wide, and yet he didn't get the strike. Here he is, disciplined, down underneath, palming that ball off his hand, sending it from the 3rd arrow, the 2nd arrow, the 1st arrow, all the way out to the channel.
Now watch this. Whoops.
Oh, no.
Look at this.
Oh, yes, watch that.
Inexcusable. It really is. And Dennis knows it, and everybody else should know it. That to miss a single pin spare and really be representing the 159 other pros that he whipped this week is unfortunate. But he's put the match back in perspective. We're out here for match game play. Right now, Randy Peterson going at a 173 pace. Dennis Jakes a 172.
And it looks like he left too much on that first shot in the other frame when he did a split on the deck here.
He also did not take his time. His seventh frame, he lost it. Forget that frame. Get your composure back. Concentrate on the eighth frame. He didn't take his time. He's left himself another tough spare.
Dennis Jakes, the tournament leader, winner of 3, and a man looking for his first win, and now getting a check from Harry Golden, requesting a re-rack. Second of the day. He's pleading his case to the tournament director.
Harry taking a long look. This is a key shot. Randy Peterson never in the winner's circle. Chris leads by 1, has his first strike up of the whole match on the left-hand lane, the 7th frame.
We may run into tomorrow.
Well, we may be dribbling the bowling balls as we go into the next match. Randy Peterson, probably the biggest shot of his career, leads by 1, has a chance to take 11-pin lead over Dennis Jakes.
What a clutch non-winner. Just socked that double on the tournament leader.
Look at this shot. He's in the swish zone. We haven't seen one of those all day. He drives the 5 over in the 470, takes 11-pin lead through 8 frames. Adaptability. That's the word this young man told me before we went on the air, Chris.
Well, I'm impressed with his careful preparation, like when he gets up on the approach, before he makes a move, carefully sets himself.
I think that's a residue of his experience, of his poor experiences, Chris. He told me those 153 games that he bowled his first 2 times out were lack of concentration, lack of preparation. Does he want to win?
If we could measure adrenaline, it would be sky high. Watch him. And
thank you.
Dennis sarcastically saying thank you to a couple of spectators who inadvertently sort of cheered as a replay of the reaction of Peterson. Tough. That's 10-pin.
As bad as things have gone for Dennis Jakes so far, the match is not completely over yet. Dennis Jakes has a possible 181. He would force Randy Peterson to mark in the 10th for his first title if he can double. Needs a strike.
Leaves the 4-7.
We have a new entry into the Firestone.
Isn't that some kind of performance?
Well, he was prophetic when he said, if I can get loose and through the first game in his audio tape, I can go all the way. And there he is. He's going to be standing in the winner's circle with $27,000. Dennis Jakes didn't make any difference on that shot.
And we can share in the disgust that Dennis has for himself and his performance here in this final game.
Dennis Jakes is naturally disconsolate that he was beaten, but Dennis Jakes will be back. He's a tough competitor with a lot of talent.
But imagine coming from number 5 position and working your way to the top and a first-time victory on the Professional Bowlers Tour for 23-year-old Randy Peterson of Santa Maria, California. And are his backers ever happy? The AC Delco Classic winner. He'll be receiving the trophy from Archie Long of AC Delco, but what a performance.